What's going on, boys and girls? How you doing, sign shop, print shop owners out there? It is Peter Karunas here with shopVOX, and I am bringing you another video, my last video here of 2021. If you are anyone like me, you are probably really busy right now trying and hustling and doing anything that you can to close out the year strong and button up any of those last minute proposals that you've put together, and that's what this video is going to be about. So sit back, take a few minutes, relax, and let's get into some end of the year practices here in 2021. So stay tuned. All right, so we're in the home stretch here in 2021, and you're a sign shop owner, you're a sign shop salesman, you're a business development manager for a sign or print shop, and you know what? Your focus is padding those numbers for 2021, right? You're giving out incentives for the end of the year to some of your outside proposals that you've put together, and it's it's working. Maybe you're very busy, maybe you're not. So that's really what we're going to talk about here, is what are some best practices to do end of the year around this time to really kind of just like foster the sales that you've done all year and pad those numbers, and also look towards January and February. Those are that's the swell of the industry there. The January and February markets are not easy for anybody, but what are you going to do now here in December to kind of look forward to better results this year in January and February? So before we talk about January and February, let's kind of talk a little bit about what you're doing right now. So if you're not doing this, take some notes. You might want to try some of these best practices here in terms of closing out the year in 2021. So step one really is take a look at your sales pipeline. Take a look at what you got out there. Take a look at some of the older estimates, something that's 15, 30 days old. The person hasn't gotten back to you yet. And, what are you going to do to close those deals? Kind of inch them closer towards to getting a yes from them, right? Maybe it's just been something that they've been sitting on, and they can't afford it right now because it is the end of the year. They're saving some money. They're spending money on gifts for the holiday season, and money's a little tight right now. So money being a little tight, maybe this is an opportunity for you to do a few things here with some of those estimates in terms of what you would do now versus what you would do throughout the entire year. So maybe this is an opportunity to close a deal and take less of a deposit. Maybe this is, instead of going for 50 or 60%, maybe you're going to make a 20% deposit here. Secure the order, get the order in for the end of the year, and then, maybe work out some payment terms with the customer for next year, right? Let's kind of get that order into production by securing that order with somewhat of a deposit, but maybe it's not as close to 50% as you're normally used to doing throughout the year. Maybe this is a great opportunity to also look to throw in some things into your estimates, right? Maybe if you have an abundance of a particular product, maybe a banner or banner stands or something that you can throw into the equation here as a gift. So your messaging should sound a little bit more along the lines of, if you close this deal, we're also going to include free included with your purchase blank. 2 banner stands, a 4x10 grand opening banner, a set of business cards. How about putting that all together into a nice little package, right? Your business startup bundle, business cards, vehicle magnets, and a banner for free. Maybe look into doing something like that in order to close some more sales for you for the end of the year. And lastly, and probably something of a last resort here, is really kind of just look at those estimates with a fine-tooth comb and take a look at what you can do in terms of price. We're not asking you to drastically cut your price. That would be something silly to do. However, this is an opportunity to kind of cut into some of those profits for future relationship gains next year. So maybe if you let them know that, hey, I'm going to issue you this one-time discount to get this order in by the end of the year, because we won't be offering you this level of discount next year. This is a great time to take advantage of that opportunity, but do make sure here that you do understand your profit margins. You are not going to cut too deeply into that where it ends up costing you more money. Here we're just talking about cutting into your profit margins just slightly here, giving them that 10 to 20% off, depending on what it is, of course, but really kind of zeroing in on looking at those numbers and saying, oh, look, I might be able to budge here. I might be able to move here several $100s, a couple of bucks here. If you're willing to close the deal by 12/31, we have an opportunity to get that on our books for this year's books, and we want to pad our numbers even better than we did last year. So that's all it's about. It's really about performing at optimal capacity here as we look to chug along these next few days, these upcoming 2 or 3 weeks here remaining in the year. This is a great opportunity to kind of get those messaging points out to all of your estimates that you have there in your pipeline. Now let's kind of talk a little bit about January and February coming up. January and February in the sign and printing industries, these months here are known for being the swells of your sales pipeline, right? You have your peaks, your valleys. Well, this is definitely entering into that valley of a season. So what are you going to do differently this time around that you can do this year in 2022 to attract some business in going forward for your sign and print shop? So here we're going to give you a couple of helpful tips on how to avoid a real tumultuous swoon here during January and February. Get yourself into service. Getting yourself into service, sign service that is a great opportunity to kind of keep the business wheels turning while you're waiting for some of these other deals here on this side of the fence to kind of come into your pipeline. So, you might be waiting 30, 45 days for an estimate to actually drop when your customer's company has a little bit of resources that are available to actually go forward with that purchase. The sign service pieces over here are really going to kind of keep you afloat during that season. If you haven't checked out our video about sign service, you're going to want to check that out, and I will leave that link up here for you, and you can check that out when you get a moment. The second thing that you can do here is kind of keep that communication door open for your customers. This is kind of interesting because I have seen some success with it over the past few months here, and that's, really start getting active with video messaging with your customers. We have several videos on this throughout the year that we've done, and it is a great tactic to kind of keep yourself, your face, and your brand in front of the customer's eye and purview, and keep them in the loop of what's going on. Make sure you kind of show them about how busy you are, or kind of just remember like that you care about their business and you care about making sure that they get the best deal possible going into 2022. And lastly, kind of look at the other end of the equation here. How could we mitigate some of your costs during January and February and even early March here? And this is where you might consider looking at outsourcing a little bit more and kind of cutting back on some of the in-house production to kind of turn things around at a quicker clip. It might cost you a little bit more in terms of outsourcing, but you'll be able to operate your shop at a more efficient clip when you do. So maybe if you're in a drastic dyers, maybe this is an opportunity to kind of look at your staffing and say, maybe you need to make a little bit of cuts in your payroll here. Ask some staff to take a reduction during these months for maybe a future raise later on in the year. But potentially look at the angle for outsourcing. There's a lot of really great graphic design outsourcing platforms out there on an unlimited basis that will help kind of keep those costs down a little bit. There are also some production and outsourcing and installation vendors out there as well. So when you're quoting projects, maybe it may be worth it to look at that angle to kind of cut into some of your costs there that you have on an ongoing weekly basis while you're waiting for orders to come in. Remember, that's an expense that's going out the door on an every week or bi-weekly basis. So you're definitely going to need revenue coming in somehow. And, that's got to be where your focus is going to be. Maybe more so than cutting expenses, but certainly something to take a look at as you go into January, February, and early March. So that's going to be it for me for 2021, guys. Great job. I hope that you close out the year with stupendous results. I'll be here in 2022 bringing you some interesting content here with shopVOX. And like always, everybody, really thank you for making this channel a great success. A couple of little updates here. You know, we went from 200 subscribers to now over 900 subscribers in 1 year. That's incredible growth for this channel as we look to be the pioneers for knowledge in the signage and printing industry here on YouTube, on our YouTube channel here. So thank you so much for you all for making that a success. I really sincerely appreciate that. And I look forward to bringing you guys some more wisdom, some more insight into 2022. Yeah, so still stay tuned. If you haven't done so by now, please like and subscribe to this channel so that you'll know when other videos from me and other people here at shopVOX are going to be hitting. And like always, everybody, stay positive out there, huh?